The younger flamingos will be very, very gray in color. As they get older, they will start to change colors and grow in the white and pink, which you see on the adults. I do notice the greater flamingos much more white than they have pink. Coloration pattern which results from their life in the hot salt marshes of equatorial Africa. Paler coloration helps to better reflect light, reflect heat, and keep the bird a tad bit cooler on a bright sunny day like today. Every animal, after all, is adapted for life in its own particular habitat, which is why it can be so deadly when humans come in and start changing, destroying those habitats. Quite often we do end up destroying the animals who live there too. Oh, special viewing opportunity for us. Our sudden stop. To the right-hand side of the vehicle, our youngest baby rhino is out, along with his mother and their keepers. To see this, you are looking along the closest wall to our right. You'll see where there's a little ladder built, some bars around it for the keepers to descend on down. The baby rhino and his mother are hanging out right there and getting checked out by our animal care experts. Really wonderful viewing opportunity here. The mother and the calf have been a little bit reclusive since he was born. So it is nice to see him out and about where you can actually get a view on him. So he is a special baby rhino, the 99th southern white rhinoceros baby to have been born in our park. And the first baby that resulted from in vitro fertilization. A technique that's pretty well known in humans, but rather revolutionary with rhinos, as they do have a much more complicated reproductive system than we do. Now I could stay here all day and look at him. He is just an absolute sweetheart, super adorable. But we do have a lot more stuff to see, so go ahead and finish up your last photos, and then we're going to go ahead and hit the road. Okay, lucky opportunities for us. Let's see what else we can find out here. Coming up to the left, we're approaching one of our large open field habitats. Across the pond and down the valley floor, 65 interconnected acres, home to a dozen different species of animals. In other words, this is not a traditional zoo. These large open spaces do tend to make animals feel a bit more at home, more comfortable, and much more likely to reproduce. The only downside is that the animals are free to go wherever they'd like within these open spaces. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to find them. Some animals might not even be visible at all. So while we're traveling, keep your eyes open. We'll do the best we can. Even when the zebra maybe are not being super cooperative. Look up to the right, you'll see the black and white striped animals on the side of the hill alongside the large pine trees, where the zebra are hiding probably as part of the plan to stay safe from predators.
Way over there, you see it?
Now they are no doubt unaware that here at the park there are no predators with the prey. Zebra live with nothing more deadly than antelope cattle. Speaking of antelope, keep your eyes to the left-hand side of the tour vehicle here. We'll see a couple different antelope species. We pull right into the middle of everybody. Unfortunately, I cannot stop if anyone is sitting or not sitting, so if you could take your seat there, sir. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, sorry we weren't very well centered there, ladies and gentlemen. Difficulty with coming to the stop. As I said, though, we have the two species of antelope way over your left-hand shoulders with the lavender coats and the black and white faces. Those are the finchbook antelope. Closer to us, dark brown in color with the long, backwards curving horns. Those are the sable antelope. Both species have long, aggressive horns, which are used primarily by antelope for competitions within the group. They lock horns together and wrestle with their neck muscles, each one trying to prove itself bigger, stronger than the other. Whoever wins gets first dibs on food, water, territory, or anything else that needs to be divided up amongst the group. Generally speaking, the more competitive antelope are, the more likely they are to have big and aggressive horns. Now just a brief view, I'm afraid, on the left, you will very quickly see some ostrich. I'm not going to be able to stop here, however, as the ostrich are inside a special yard for animals who need extra privacy. We don't want to stop the big noisy tour buses running next to it. So we'll pull up just a little bit farther here, where we have the giraffes. And we'll stop for a nice beautiful view of them. Now, giraffes very interested in what our keepers are doing, coming out and sneaking the last little bits of nutrition off of the magical tree that grows a new branch every single day. Giraffes love it. We have both adult giraffes and juveniles here. And as they're eating, make sure to watch for their tongues. Giraffe tongues are semi-prehensile and work in a very similar fashion to human fingers. You can stick them out, wrap around what they want, and pull back into their mouth. Unlike human fingers, however, giraffe tongues are 16 inches long on average. Letting them reach in past the bones for foods. So great view there. We also have a lovely view coming up on the right-hand side of the vehicle of some of our desert friends. Look for a dromedary camel. That is the type of camel with one hump on his back. He's up at the top of the hill. And displayed across the hillside are these lovely silver black striped animals. Don't be afraid if you see a little bit of biting or a little bit of kicking of these animals. They are called Somali wild lambs. And biting and kicking is a very normal part of their competitive behaviors. That's why you'll notice, for example, the black striping on the legs to emphasize those weapons, and the white markings around their muzzles to draw attention to their mouth. They also have those thick veins of fur on the back of their neck to protect against biting, and a good strong jaw that can take a kick or two. With these elaborate competitive rituals, you can probably tell the Somali wild ass does live in a very harsh desert climate, where there is little food and even less water. Okay, climbing the hillside here. Watch for animals to your left as we ascend. You might spot a couple of creatures down in the canyon. Black and white faces, for example, backwards curving horns. Those are roan antelope. Or across our hillside and with white stripes on their backs, called the kudu. Both of them species of antelope, which I do have to warn you is a very broad category. In Africa alone, there are 73 different antelope species. Here comes one beautiful view on our right-hand side here, copper orange, bright white stripes. Those are the rainforest-dwelling bongo antelope. The diversity of antelope might surprise you a little bit because if you go to other zoos or watch nature documentaries, you don't really see very many antelope. Antelope are not glamorous animals, you understand? They're not movie stars. They're not famous. They're not popular. And unfortunately, as a result, we can sometimes tend to think that antelope aren't very important because we don't see them much. Therefore, they must not be a big deal. However, that is completely untrue. Antelope are absolutely vital. They are the foundation of the food chain. For example, antelope make up the vast majority of biomass, which is consumed by large predators. So without antelope, you have no lions, no cheetahs, no leopards. And below them, antelope also support animals and plants lower in the food chain. They carry seeds in their fur. They fertilize those seeds with their waste. Antelope propagate entire generations of plants. Antelope may not be the movie stars, but they are still important. They're like the teachers and the firefighters. Their contributions may not always be noticed, but if they stop making them, everything falls apart. And we are seeing, by the way, at least 3 antelope species here. Over your left-hand shoulders, you might remember the gray animals with the white stripes. Those are the kudu. Straight in front of us to the left with the black and white face, backwards curved horns. Those are the roan antelope. And as we move forward here, you'll see a smaller copper orange animal called the Ugandan cub. Antelope are found living in every major habitat across Africa, from the grasslands to the mountains, from the deserts to the rainforests. Now this habitat we've been traveling around to our left is mostly built to represent the grasslands and the deserts of Africa. You can see that reflected in the wide open spaces and the non-site lands. All of our habitats here at the park are constructed with individual needs, preferences of the animals who live in them. And here is a prominent example of a grassland animal to our left. Dark brown coats, thick inward curving horns. Those are called the Cape buffalo. They're a big, strong, powerful animal native to the grasslands of southern Africa, where, like other grassland animals, they have to face the biggest challenge of their habitat, which are the large and abundant predators who live there. Buffalo are big and strong. They'll fight off the predators, whereas smaller animals will need alternative lightning. Like to our left, where we're seeing these animals with the black racing stripes and the white bellies, they're called springbok. They are not a big, powerful animal. The springbok, rather incredibly fast. They will run over 50 miles an hour, turn on the dime, jump 5 feet up into the air. It is their athleticism which will keep the springbok safe. Coming around this corner to our left, we'll see another one of the big grassland animals called the common eland, tan with corkscrew-shaped horns. While, ironically enough, to the right-hand side of our vehicle, we're going to see the greatest danger facing the African grasslands. Just underneath the pepper tree here, you'll find an animal which I'm willing to wager you have heard of before. They are called domestic cattle. Now, this is a breed which is herded most often in Eastern Africa, and they are used primarily for milk and meat production. But unfortunately, these cattle are herded in such large groups that, along with other livestock, they are triggering a process called desertification, which is where the grassland dies and turns into a desert, killing off the grassland animals like the eland who lived there, as well as causing crop failures and dust storms, which is and desertification, even in the context of the 21st century, is one of the largest ecological disasters going on. Luckily, desertification is not inevitable. People have herded cattle in Eastern Africa for thousands of years. Desertification is a very recent problem. The biggest thing that changed was that in the late 19th century, Europeans arrived in Eastern Africa and disrupted the traditional way of life. Historically, the herdsmen of East Africa would migrate with their cattle, traveling across large distances, by doing so, allowing the grasslands to regenerate behind them. However, in the late 19th century, Europeans arrived and started carving out colonies for themselves. They would walk out onto the grassland with a map in their hand and start drawing random lines across it, saying, "This is now mine and that's now yours." When the herdsmen would come on migration, they would be stopped at the point of a gun and told, "Whoops, sorry, this is a border now. You're no longer allowed to cross here. Turn back. Settle down." And as those herds transitioned from being migratory to being stationary, the grasslands began to die. This affects animals like the southern white rhino. We'll get a brief view on the right-hand side. There's a rhino walking away from us off the road. We'll get a better view of rhinos, though, in just a moment, so I'm going to chat about them to start with. What I do want to chat about first are these beautiful birds, black and white with big yellow plumes of feathers on their heads.